Welcome back to the Horseman's Quarter. With us on the program today, Annette Coker and Kevin Meyer, Mance Creek Horses at Douglas, Wyoming. Let's talk about what you guys get out of working together. In other words, what do you pick up? Do you feel it's beneficial and you get some really good ideas by working together?
Absolutely. Having that extra set of eyes is always great, but to have an extra set of highly educated eyes, I'm talking about Nettie right now, that she has an understanding of the physiology and the mechanics of a horse that is just mind-blowing to me, and certain maneuvers and aspects of training that I used to really, struggle with and fight my head about. She's been able to really give me a different way of thinking about things, and has really simplified a lot of the things that I've tried to do, just because the training has become more focused on the mechanics. And hopefully I serve that same purpose for her. But anytime that you have a really educated set of eyes, that is as a horse trainer, it's really easy to get tunnel visioned and try to force your way through getting something to work. And having somebody say, hey, maybe if you thought about it this way, and being able to talk through those problems and come up with more than one solution has just been unbelievable advantage for both of us.
I would think it would be. What's your feelings, Annette?
Me, I think after getting more involved with the Western way of life, and for me, it's been an understanding of learning more of what these horses are actually capable of, and oftentimes I was pretty shallow in thinking about even horses doing a job. My understanding of what they're capable of and what I have learned they're actually capable of certainly varied. The other part of the equation for me was learning and understanding that horses are capable of a lot more pressure than I initially put on them, but pressure in a good way, and especially in regards to the cow, them understanding that the pressure comes off when the cow comes into play, and the cow is their release of pressure. So Kevin has brought to the table just another way of me understanding, for lack of a better word, a little bit more where the bottom of a horse is, and not being so unrealistic with what they have to offer.
It's what's the favorite event? The versatility is what you like to do, but is there any part of that versatility that really trips your trigger more than the other?
For me, the challenge of the cow work and the herd work and going down the fence has been something that I guess I have really, really enjoyed. My background as a jockey, speed has always been something that has never been a concern for me. So just getting to some shows this year and getting down the fence and that has certainly been really, really a rewarding experience for me, something new. And I think that's been part of my whole life. I have not ever limited myself to thinking that I was only capable of doing one thing. So it's just a new, very exciting challenge for me, and it incorporates the reining part of it is something that I teach and I enjoy, and to bring the cow into that has just been very exciting for me.
Kevin, what about keeping these horses sound? Do you have much? You're starting them a little later than some folks do. Does that help with the soundness issues?
I believe it does. I have all the respect in the world for those guys that are showing futurity horses, but it's never been a big interest to me. And I know that is probably unpopular to say, but it's one of our leading causes of problems, of soundness problems in our horses is we put so much athletic pressure on them at a young age. We spend a lot of time in just body conditioning. We spend a lot of time thinking about and great care with our shoeing program. And so we try to prevent that stuff through the training program and through our expectations dependent upon age.
So you're not into the futurities. What age do you start showing these horses?
Oh, usually when they're 4 and 5, and we both enjoy showing the older horses that are in the bridle when they're getting up above 6 years old as well. And that's kind of always been my thing. I've never really been the future deal, but again, I have all the respect in the world and do not begrudge anybody that is in that, because I know in the show world that's where the big money is and the big prizes, and that's all well and good. And so I wish everybody well. That's just not something that we're super interested in.
Well, your customers then are not customers that are necessarily interested in the futurities.
No, not really, and I don't necessarily think that we're after the clientele that is looking to really go huge and big in the show world. We're not looking to be on the road all the time at the big major shows. We both certainly enjoy it, and with the right horse, we will certainly take those runs at things. But we really are in that niche of people that are wanting to go have some fun on their horse and maybe dip their toe into the show pen a little bit.
So you're training, what about training people? Do you do much in that area?
Oh, yeah, we certainly do. And I think that's what's very encapsulating what we do. Obviously, we do, we've been doing between 10 and 14 clinics a year. I think we're going to back that off a little bit in 2020 just because we want to get more involved in the show pen. But certainly our biggest goal is to not only develop horses, but have clients that are interested in learning at the same time, protecting the investment that they have in their training. We like them to be part of that. We have a lot of clients that will come and spend a week at a time with us in varying stages of their horses' training so that they continue their education. That's a big bonus for us, is that our clients are very involved in understanding how to ride their horses and understanding the training and the time that goes into that, and really trying to better themselves as horsemen as well.
Kevin, are you still involved with the folks down at CSU and working with those kids at all?
Yes, actually, Nettie and I both are, and that's a program that we believe in. And we're very happy to go down there and help, and we're involved with both selling and buying horses in the Legends of Ranching sale that's held every April, and we try to get down and help out with the different classes, the horse handling classes and the colt starting classes and the behavior classes a couple times a year.
That's a good deal. That's a good program they have at CSU, but it's interesting to me that you guys are involved with the older horses. Would be great if there were a little less interest in the futurities and more in the 4 and 5 and 6 year old horses, and the money being there, wouldn't it?
It really would be. I understand why it's not, because it's hard to ask a client to keep paying those training fees and not ever get to a horse show until a horse is 4 or 5 or 6. So I understand it, but just because the system is set up a certain way doesn't mean that individuals can't create their own system. And the people that we deal with, that's our clientele for the most part. That's what they're trying to do is just go have fun with their horses, and they don't have a whole barn full of horses, so they need to take care of the one they got, and they just want to go have fun with it, and we want to help them with that.
Well, that's a good spot to take another break. Let's get that done, but I'll be back with more from Kevin Meyer and Annette Coker at Mans Creek Horses of Douglas, Wyoming in just a moment. You're listening to the Horseman's Corner. Welcome back to the Horseman's Corner. I'm Howard Hale, host of the program. Good to have you folks along with us, and let's continue here on the third segment of today's show. Any particular bloodlines that you tend to favor for what you guys are doing?
Not specifically. I mean, I think every trainer has their favorite bloodlines. I've always been very, very particular towards Gray Starlight bred horses. They've always seemed to do really good for me. Any Pepe San Badger bloodline seems to be pretty good. And of course, now we're all dealing with grandsons, great-grandsons, and daughters of that bloodline, but just going back to that bloodline. But I've had good luck with Blue Valentine horses, you know, and really it comes down to individuals. The bloodline will give you an idea of what a horse might do, but really they're all individuals.
Let's get off the horses for a minute and talk about the cattle. You still running quite a few cattle?
No, actually, we had to give that up this year. Had a problem with one of the leases, and wasn't able to run cattle this year.
Well, that's a heck of a note.
Yeah.
Do you have enough? You have enough cattle around though, where you have cattle to work all the time?
Yeah, we still have our own little herd, but it's not the big numbers that we used to be running. So we still have our cattle, our mother cows, and we still have ground for those. And yeah, we always have plenty of cattle around to work.
Let's talk about your mother cows a little bit. That works well where you can incorporate both the horses and the cattle, I would think.
Yeah, it's a very synergistic relationship. We're kind of producing our own cattle to work, I guess you could say, and in the future, that's what we're really working towards. We'd like to expand our herd and keep that going.
What kind of cattle do you raise?
Well, that's kind of funny. We have a herd of half Longhorn, half Coriani cows, and I cow might weigh about 800 pounds. And we breed those back to straight Angus bulls, and we have had with those cattle. Most of them, we dehorn them at branding, and if we didn't tell you, you would not believe that those were not just crossbred Angus calves.
That Coriani Longhorn cow is, they're pretty low maintenance, aren't they?
They're very low maintenance, and they really wean a calf that's a big percentage of their body. So we've been extremely happy with that mix.
Where do you find those cows, or do you have another small herd of those that you raise where you raise your own brood cows?
No, we're just raising all our own. We haven't bought any cows. We just keep our replacement heifers that we like, and we're not looking to expand at a high rate. And we're not opposed to buying some cows, but right now we're pretty happy with where our program is. But we're always, if we see something we like, it's no different than with the horses. If we see something we like, we tend to go after it.
Kevin Meyer and Annette Coker at Mance Creek Horses at Douglas, Wyoming. You stay tuned. We're going to have more for you in a moment. You're listening to the Horseman's Corner.